I can see a keeper on the roof.
Hessian bag on its head.
Erin? Look at Erin, she's just littering everywhere. Take your rubbish home with you, Erin. Now guys, that's not litter, that's lunch. So it looks like litter because it's wrapped up in paper bags, but that's one of the ways we have of presenting the food to the orangs. It's a really good way of doing it because it's like a lucky dip. Each of these guys will have a food that they prefer, and most of the time they all like the same thing and aren't too keen on the other thing. So if we put them in paper bags, they don't know what they're getting. And sometimes those paper bags will be chock-a-block full of the really nice stuff. Some of those paper bags might not have anything in them but wood shavings. And that's how we encourage our orangutans to not just get, you can see the stuff that Marlu rejects. That's the way we get them, that's the way we ensure that they will discover and they will forage to every single bag, because each bag could be a jackpot as far as these orangs are concerned. So roof feeds like the one that Erin's just done have been really important since moving our orangutans to this area. This area has only been open for just over 2 years now. And prior to the orangs living here, they lived in some very, very antiquated enclosures, an old bear enclosure called a pit enclosure. Now back in the 50s, those pit enclosures were cutting-edge technology at zoos, but zoos were a different place in the 50s. In the 50s, you could come with a shopping list with all your animals on it, go around the zoo and you could just tick off every single animal, because the animals were in great big pits with nowhere to go, nowhere to hide, nowhere to climb. You couldn't help but see them. So because the orangutans came from that sort of exhibit, once they got to this exhibit, we had to reteach them how to use their bodies. We had to encourage them to get up high, we had to get them swinging again, because it was something that they hadn't done for years. And animals, just like most people I know, are food motivated. So you can get your animals back up off the ground very easily using food. So roof feeds was one of the major ways we did that. Another way that we do it, there's none up at the moment, but a lot of these poles here will drop down on pulleys, and we've got cages on the bottom that we can fill with really tasty things and winch those cages back up to the top of the enclosure, and then the orangs will have to hang and get the food out. Now I've just realised that I haven't introduced you to the orangs. The two that are up at the moment, the little one is Marlu. Hey Marlu. Marlu is the terror of the skies. He's a 5-year-old orangutan. And let me tell you, you think raising a 5-year-old kid's hard? You try with a 5-year-old orangutan, because he's just as inquisitive, just as intelligent as a 5-year-old, but he's stronger than me. So that makes for quite a combination. He's talking to his mum at the moment, or really he's stealing her food, because that's what the youth can do to their parents. That's that unconditional love thing. And his mum up there is Maimuna. Maimuna's 22 now, and this big hulk and bulk of a man who's just appeared is Dad. That's Santan. Santan's 30. Now with orangutans, with males, you can very easily tell a dominant male from all other males in the population. And that's because orangutans are like gorillas. So most of you will probably know that once gorillas become dominant, they develop that silver back and they bulk up. It's called second stage maturity. And orangutans go through second stage maturity as well. So if Santan wasn't a dominant male, then he would look much like the females, just a little bit larger. But because he's dominant, he's got those great big hands, great arms, he's got those big cheek flanges, that plate face that is so indicative of a male orang. And he's also got, you can't really see it when he's up there, but he's got a big saggy throat pouch, and that's song sack. I know, it doesn't sound too appealing, does it, song sack? But that's what it's called. And in the wild, he would climb up to a very tall tree in the middle of his territory and he would sing. And any of the females in the region that were ready to breed would come and find him and breed with him. They will only breed with dominant males. It's a good way to ensure that your offspring have good genes. So for the most part, and I say for the most part because there's always exceptions to rules, particularly when it comes to primates, but for the most part orangutans are solitary animals. So mum doesn't live with dad, the females don't live together, they all live on their own. And mum will only ever have one offspring at a time. She'll raise that offspring for about 7 to 9 years. That's how long it takes to teach the offspring everything it needs to know. And it's not until that young moves on before she'll think about breeding again. However, you'll notice at the zoo here we've got mum, dad and the kid all living together. Now why does that work? Well, it's not really an artificial situation because these are very intelligent, adaptable animals. There are some places in Sumatra where orangs will live in family groups, and what we're finding is that they will live in big communal groups where food is abundant. So it seems to be their choice of lifestyle is dependent on their access to resources, and that makes a lot of sense. That's how most animals organise themselves. So areas that don't have as many fruiting trees, as many good tasty leaves, orangutans will be solitary, but suddenly where food is abundant, they'll live in groups. And it's only where orangutans live in groups that you'll see teaching, you'll see tool usage. Not only are the young taught, but also it's taught cross-generationally as well. So other orangutans in the troop will share their skill set with the orangutans that are already there. Now, this is our only group of pure-blood orangs, and I say pure-blood orangs because these guys here are Sumatran orangs. We've got two other orangs, a mum and daughter team, but they're hybrid orangutans, so they're a mix between Borneo and Sumatran orangs. That happened a lot a few decades ago because we didn't know that they were separate subspecies. We thought that they were just all orangutans. Well, not just we at the zoo, but globally everybody thought that you were an orangutan, didn't matter, everybody was they were all just orangutans, and they might have lived on different islands, but they were the same animal. We've recently, with genetic modelling, have found out that they're subspecies. So we're now concentrating on just breeding the Sumatran orangs. And that's why we've got them living in here with one offspring at the moment. And it's important that we breed these guys because it's thought that these animals will be extinct in the wild in about 9 years. Now that's an incredibly short period of time, particularly considering that mum will raise her offspring for 7 to 9 years. So in effect, what we're looking at is the potential extinction of a species with one generation. And that's quite horrific, really. There's a lot of things that we can do in Australia, although we feel quite removed from tropical rainforests of Southeast Asia. There's a lot that we can do in Australia to help orangs, and it doesn't involve giving money, it doesn't involve donating of your time, it doesn't really involve that much effort either. The biggest threat to orangs is palm oil. Palm oil is a huge cash crop that's being planted throughout Indonesia. Palm oil is in your chocolate biscuits, it's in your corn chips, it's in shampoos and it's in soaps. Now at the moment it doesn't have to be listed as an ingredient in Australia, but you can jump on the web and Google palm oil action, and there's several organisations out there that will let you know what products on the supermarket shelf contain palm oil. So something as simple as changing the type of corn chip that you eat or picking a new chocolate biscuit, if we do that en masse, it's going to have a real influence on these animals in the wild. Now we live in a consumer society, and being Westerners we consume a lot, so it's important that we consume ethically and that we are educated about the products that we use and how that impacts wild populations of animals. Alright guys, so if you've got any questions, come up and chat to me. Do go inside if you haven't been inside yet. There are 2 more orangs to meet, and there's also our group of Simang gibbons. They're the little black guys inside. Marlu's gone up to the glass there, so no doubt he's about to start licking the glass and rubbing his face on it, doing all the things that a 5-year-old orangutan does, making people laugh. So go inside and check him out. It is a little bit hot out here. But if you've got any questions, please come up and say hello.
Why did they throw it in? I know, someone must have. Yeah, go ahead. The other one, no, the other side.
The other side, it's got those.
New car? You are? Oh.
Uses too much fuel.
Okay. That's a good way to get. That's a good reason to get it. How many in your family?